So this is a bike that I intend to ride. Just a little bit of information on it relative to the bike. It's a Surly Fargo. Also, it's the Salsa Fargo brand. But it's one that's made up. I'm really pleased with it so far. You see I got it mudded up pretty good where I've been taking it purposely on some trails with some loaded weight in it, which is basically going to be my house on the road for this trip. And I'll explain that, but I wanted to get it with the mountain tires because I'll be doing a section on the trail in the mountains. So these are the knobbies. So the idea is when I'm on the road, I'll switch these knobbies out and it'll be the same size tire, but they'll be slicks. And then when I go to the mountains, I'll just not have to switch the wheels, but I'll change the tires. I'll have those shipped out there, brought out so that I can switch over to the mountain. But to kind of go through the gear, I got a throwback fun seat. These Brooks saddles are like a riding saddle, like a horse saddle. They're super, they conform to your body, so they become really comfortable. But honestly, it was comfortable right from my first ride, so I'm thrilled with it. And it gives it a nice throwback look. I wanted kind of a gritty, you know, this is going to take a lot of gutting it out to do it, so I didn't want the bike to be all flashy. But it is very serviceable, so it's made up to take an awful lot of gear, a lot of weight. So all the metal you see is titanium, and that has flex in it, but also a tremendous amount of strength. The forks are carbon underneath, so they take up some of the shock. Carbon on the seat post. So the idea is that, you know, you can both do rough terrain and do road with it. And so as you look at the bags on here, you try to position the weight so that it's as low as possible, but if you see these bags are in line with the bike. And the idea of that is so that you can do both road riding and not have a big wide load with wind resistance, but also do trail riding where you're in very tight spaces going through trees or around rocks and such. So you don't want bags hanging down low like you typically have what you call panniers on a touring bike, which I've got another one set up that way, but it wouldn't allow me to go off-road, which is going to be a lot of fun as part of the trip. And then as far as how everything's positioned, basically in the front is the sleeping wear. So medical supplies go in the front pack, and then bedroll, quilts, that kind of thing, right under the handlebars. And then one side has the hammock components in it, the other has the rain tarp and other components for the whole sleeping and setup for the hammock. And then the rear of the bike, so it's keeping that, these are all waterproof and dry, so critical nature to keep your bedroll portion dry. The rest of it is water resistant. So like the tarp that goes over the top, ultimately that will probably get wet, but it's not, as long as what you're sleeping in is dry. And then the other that has to be totally waterproof is the rear, and this is the clothes. So everything that you think about having in your dressers and such all gets packed down to that little bag. It will be longer. This will go out to about the rear of the tire. So this will have a couple sets of biking clothes, some clothes for getting out of the bike, but you can't really put too much extra in there. And then the center is in what's called the A-frame of the bike, and it's utilizing that space. One side is all bike-related tools, so repair tools and such for the bike, lights for at night, oil, the tube kit, all that kind of thing sits in this side. Just tools for repair work. And spare parts for the bike, spokes, and that kind of thing on that side. And then over on this side will be stuff for food related. I won't be able to pack food for more than a day, because you just can't get that much on the bike. And when you're going for 90 days, the reality is you can never carry enough food and keep it fresh. So basically, trying to have a day's worth of food here for places I get where it's really desolate and there's nothing to get. But generally, I'll be getting food as I go along, and then keeping a day ahead located here. So there'll be a little cook stove here, things like granola bars and all that kind of thing to sustain you if you can't find anything. And then a lot more of that type of thing here. This is called like the on-the-go food bag. So literally when I'm riding, my hand out, pull that open, pull out, a Cliff Bar or something, and have it there. Then electronics, I'll be carrying quite a bit of electronics. One cool aspect of the bike that is pretty awesome is this front hub is actually a generator. So anytime this wheel is turning, that's going to be generating juice. And so there's a tie into that, and then come up to a USB port, which would be right at the top of the steering stem. And then I can plug into that my iPhone, my Garmin. I'll have a battery pack backup that'll plug into to always be charging the battery. And then that'll charge, the camera. I'll have a mini Wi-Fi so that I can be in touch as I want to transmit stuff back. So all that takes a lot of juice. So the need for ongoing juice. On one past smaller tour I did, I had a fold-out solar panel that went on the back. But I didn't find it to be that sustainable. It would limp you by through the day. But you had to find juice at night. And there's a lot of sections where I'm going the country now I won't have that. So I felt like I needed a generator. And it's really cool new technology that doesn't, honestly, you can see, doesn't put that much resistance on the wheel. Without the generator in there, the wheel would spin a little bit longer, but I'm pleased with lack of resistance that's putting on. And then these in the front, things, the battery pack, the iPhone, the GoPro, be a lot of, while it looks throwback, there'll be a lot of electronics on it that hopefully will enable me to keep in touch with everybody, keep it exciting for everybody, so relay the experiences I'm going on. Disc brakes, those are a big time must because the bike is probably, I don't know just yet, but I think when fully loaded, I'm going to be some 60 pounds, 60 something. I'll update everybody when it's got everything in it. I've just got things like towels and stuff in here and rocks right now to simulate the weight to go out and beat it around and make sure everything holds in place okay. So basically you got your house with you, you got to be a repairman for anything that could go wrong, so all kind of spare stuff. I will be tubeless, so these have a liquid in them that seals up flats so that as you get flats, it'll spurt out for a bit but then seal it. But I'll also be carrying multiple tubes because ultimately those might not make it, so where you need to switch over to a tube, but it gives you a lot more chances at it before you're totally broken down. The last thing, down low, these are spare tubes, tire-related stuff, patch kit in there. I'll probably want to get, and so food and water become the critical thing, so shelter, food, and water. And we talked a bit about where food is, where my shelter is. So water will be on each side on the front, water bottle here, and then ultimately when I get into desert areas, I'll have another water bottle that goes under here. And I may well have a hydration pack based on how long I'm going to go in between without water. But it becomes a critical thing is maximizing how much water you can carry.